So number one is the body. The more holistically you think about the body and the better you treat it, and the more you love it, the better it's going to serve your mental fitness, your brain fitness. Number two is, of course, the mind. And people often say to me, well, Chance, what's the difference between the brain and the mind? The brain is 100 billion neurons, 2.5 to 4 pounds, depending on the size of your head. Neurons in general in the brain look like this. This is sort of what they look like. They will have a single axon which carries information away from the cell. This is one cell. You have 100 billion of them right there behind your eyeballs. And up to 10,000 dendrites. And if you want to see some electron microscope pictures of neurons, these magazines have many, many beautiful, amazing pictures of what the neurons actually look like and how they actually operate. So that's the physical brain, right? Incidentally, let's keep in mind, it has no sensory organs. It has no sensory ability at all. So even the ancient Peruvians were able to do brain surgery, cut somebody open, go in there and do things with the brain and let it heal up, right? Because it didn't hurt, right? But the mind is what you do with it. The connections that you make. And the kinds of tapes that you run. And the kinds of things that you say to yourself over and over and over. And this, to me, is a huge step forward. First of all, let's realize the brain is fed stuff by ourselves and by other people, mom and dad and church and school, right? Yes. And then it runs itself. Well, the thing I want to warn you about is sometimes the brain will run itself in a not very pleasant way. It's, oh, darn, why did I do that? Oh, rats, I forgot this. Oh, I'm so embarrassed I've forgotten your name, right? Well, knock it off, right? Don't let the brain drive you around. Don't let the tapes in your brain drive you around, because they will actually decrease your effectiveness. I find this to be very, very interesting. We are constantly creating chemicals by our thoughts. So what I'm encouraging you to do is constantly look for the good in your life. Constantly look for the things that you do well. Constantly, if you remember, you wake up in the morning, you remember your husband's name, hooray! Fabulous, my God. So watch yourself, because just think of it. To get here this morning, you've probably done over 500 things just perfectly. You know? And if you put too much sugar in your coffee, you say, oh, darn, why did I do that? Right? So I'm really asking you to think about how you use your mind in a positive way toward your life and toward your actions. Constantly be thinking about, oh, I did that right, did that right, did that right. And it builds good energy within our bodies. And actually, the effect on cells and the efficiency of cells can be measured these days. So the other thing that I want to share with you about the mind, please grow in your assertiveness. And most specifically, I want you to be able to tell other people how you want them to talk to you. Now, my folks are both gone. And I have to tell you honestly that I didn't know a whole lot about aging when my parents were aging. And in many respects, I didn't treat them as well as I could have, or shall we say should have. But now I know. And now I'm kind of a thunder lizard, an evangelical thunder lizard about telling our adult children how we want to be treated. And one of the specific things is, I don't know if any of you have heard this, but I've heard this enough. And that is, Mom, I told you that 10 minutes ago. Right? Like there's something wrong with Mom because you're asking the same question again. So I always want to ask people, you know, you don't have to remind me that you told me that 10 minutes ago. Just answer the question again. Plus, if I do remember my keys, or I do have my glasses, or my cell phone is turned on when it's supposed to be, I want you to acknowledge that. Tell people how you want to be treated. Because who we are is created by how we talk to ourselves and how other people talk to us in ways that we integrate. Does that make sense? So those are really important things in relation to the mind. In relation to the mind and then connected with the body, there are many, many things that you do every single day that are automatic. In fact, you don't have to be in the room to do them. You could be thinking about something else, for example, while you shave or while you comb your hair. There are thousands of things your body knows how to do, and you don't need to be there for them. Now, if you start to think, how could I do this differently? How could I bring some creativity into what I'm doing? Just think about this one. We talked about this one last time. Wash your hands in a different way every time. It brings you into the moment. You realize what you're doing. And following my own advice, I discovered washing my hands thus. Try this. Just see what this feels like. Because you realize what happens when you wash your hands like this. You're getting the most important place where germs hang out, right? And a lot of us, we wash our hands like this, we're missing this really important part. Because that's the part that goes like this, and you got the flu. Like that. But if you wash your hands, and just try different ways all the time. Try to wash them backwards. No, have one finger wash the whole thing. But you're there for it when that happens. I try to shave in a different way every time. Start in a different place. Oh, yeah. So what I'm suggesting, put your pants on with the other leg first. Watch yourself this time. Put your shirt on with the other arm. Right? There's thousands of things you do, moments where you can awake. And when you awake, your brain its neurons are being activated in a new way. And then when you do it, you're able to put the pants on in a different way. Praise yourself. Wow, I did it. Fabulous. Furthermore, in relation to the mind, my mom was such a one. She said, I don't have to worry about dementia. I do the New York Times crossword puzzle every day. But what she was doing was creating a single neural pathway from her temporal lobes into her frontal lobes in such a way that she could figure these things out on a daily basis. There were many other aspects of her brain which were being ignored.